Hey, welcome back. I'm Cassidy, your love coach, and on this channel, we talk about thriving relationships and how to live a life of pleasure and purpose. In today's episode, we're talking about true self-care. What does it actually mean to practice self-care, and how can you do it in a practical way when you need it the most? So if that sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned. So what comes to mind when you think about self-care? Is it maybe a bubble bath or a pedicure? These are the kinds of things that we're usually shown as being how we practice self-care. But I want to offer a new perspective today that self-care isn't some prescriptive thing. There isn't some checklist for how to properly care for yourself. Yes, there are some foundational things we can do, like taking good care of our health by getting good sleep and eating well, moving, this kind of thing. But self care goes so much further beyond that. And it's much more about your connection with yourself and practicing that moment to moment to moment. So, yesterday I was doing some computer work in the office and I just noticed that my body was feeling ready for a break. So, I stepped away from my computer, stepped out of the office, and I went outside, put my bare feet on the earth, and just got that sunshine on my face, took some deep breaths. And after a few minutes of that, I just felt so recharged and ready to get back to my work. And that got me reflecting on how far I've come when it comes to my self care. Because years ago, when Matt and I were working on building our real estate investment company, and I was working as a realtor, managing a team of realtors, and also an investment club, I thought I was practicing good self care. I had developed some really good healthy habits like getting a good sleep and eating well, doing yoga and meditation in the morning. But then I would go through the rest of my day and just dive into my work without really taking pauses to connect with myself and my body and to notice what I'm needing. So I'd be going from appointment to appointment, just shoveling some bites of food in between in the car, responding to texts, responding to emails, just really go, go, go without paying a lot of attention to me and what I was really needing. And eventually got to the point where I just burned out. I just felt exhausted and it just became too much. And at that point, when I just let go and slowed down, what I noticed was beneath the surface, there was like this little voice trying to tell me that the work I was doing was not really what I wanted to be doing anymore. But I hadn't been listening to that. I had just been pushing through, showing up, doing the work, and kind of overlooking this inner voice. And what that led to was even with the yoga, meditation, good sleep, etc., I still ended up feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. So I learned that true self-care was tuning in and listening to that little voice inside of me, listening to that inner tugging that was trying to tell me that it's time for a change. And so in that moment, real self-care looked like taking the steps to transition out of my business. When I learned embodiment practices and really strengthened that body-mind connection, then it became easier and easier to listen to what I was really needing before it needed to like whack me over the head because I wasn't listening. So through my learning and practice of self-compassion and somatics, embodiment, sacred sexuality, and mindfulness, I really started to develop a clear and reliable way to practice true self-care. And eventually I turned it into this tool that I'm going to share with you today, because I find that it's really, really valuable to have a simple and easy to remember, easy to apply tool that you can use in the moment you need it. especially when it comes to something like self-care. If you don't have that ready to go tool, it's so easy to just reach for your phone or do something else that's going to distract you instead of tuning in and seeing what you really need. So it's a simple framework with 3 steps: awareness, listening, and acting. So let's start with awareness. This is the most important step and also the most challenging because awareness is something that needs to be developed. Sometimes, if you don't currently have that awareness, you can end up getting to a point where you're feeling frustrated, irritable, tired, overwhelmed without really knowing why, kind of like what happened to me when I was just overworking in real estate. The challenge is without the awareness, you're not even really noticing your body's cues. You're not able to give yourself the self-care you're really needing because you're not hearing those messages from your body. How do we develop awareness? Well, there are 2 essential tools. The first one is meditation. Meditation really helps you become aware of your thoughts, your mind patterns, and also your emotional state. And then the second is embodiment. Embodiment is all about really tuning into the sensations of the body and noticing just what's going on in your body from moment to moment to moment. So, with practice of meditation and embodiment, this will help you to deepen that body mind connection and to be able to notice when your body is giving you signals that it's needing something. So, the second step is listening. This is pretty simple. Once you have that awareness and you notice, my body is maybe feeling contracted right now, or I'm feeling this emotion, or I'm feeling tired, whatever it is you're noticing, the next step is to listen to what it is that your body is needing. This can be as simple as just tuning into your body and saying, what do you need right now? What would feel really good right now? What would be supportive right now? And just noticing what you notice. And then the third step is what actually makes this process self-care, and that is acting. Taking action on what you've noticed. Because it's one thing to notice, ooh, I'm getting tired, I could really use a break. And it's a whole nother thing to take that break, to actually step away, to actually do the thing in the moment that you know is what you need. So as you can see from this tool, self-care can look like a million different things. Sometimes self-care might indeed be a bubble bath or a pedicure, but sometimes it could be something as simple as what I need right now is just to take a couple of deep breaths and feel my feet on the ground. Self-care could be stepping away from your screen and doing some stretching or dancing. Self-care could be telling somebody, I can't talk right now. Or it could be reaching out to say, I really need to talk right now. It can be eating mindfully and really listening to your body's responses to the food that you're giving it and giving it more of those foods that feel really nourishing and not the ones that don't. If you're a woman with a cycle, then self-care can be noticing and honoring those shifts of energy throughout your cycle and adjusting your actions accordingly. It could be listening to that little tugging in your center that's telling you it's time to move out of this job that's just not working for you anymore. Self-care can be letting yourself feel an emotion that's arising instead of just pushing it to the side, and loving yourself as you feel that emotion all the way through, which have another framework to help you do exactly that. By the way, it's called the Awaken framework. And if you'd like a deep dive into how to really allow yourself to feel an emotion all the way through and to find the aliveness and the love on the other side of it, then check out the ebook and the mini course that I've created. There's a link in the description where you can pick that up. So I could go on and on. As you can see, there are so many examples of what self-care can look like. And this is why I say that self-care isn't a prescriptive thing. It's not a checklist of things that you can do. It is really about tuning into your own body and paying attention to the signals you're getting from it and then taking action on those signals. True self-care happens in the moment you have an awareness of your needs and then take loving action to fulfill them. All right, now you might be wondering, what if I'm in a situation where I can't take the action that I'm really needing? For example, maybe you are in a workplace and you're feeling tired and you notice that what you're really needing is a nap. Unless you're in one of those cool offices where they have a nap couch, then a nap may not be the most appropriate thing. So first off, one thing you can do is do some small thing for yourself in that moment. It might not be a nap, but maybe you can go into the bathroom and just sit down and close your eyes and take some deep breaths for a couple of minutes, for example, or take a walk. And if you're in any situations in your life where you find yourself consistently ignoring or overriding your needs, then one of the best acts of self-care you can do is to change that situation. It's shaping your life in a way where you can prioritize your own needs. And this goes for relationships as well. It's so important in our relationship to be able to take care of our own needs, to be able to identify our needs and then communicate those with our partner. That's self-care too. So I'd invite you to reflect, are there any areas of your life where you've been overlooking or overriding your needs? Maybe it's putting the needs of your employer above your own, your partner, your family, or anything else. What changes do you need to make in order to be in a position where you have the option to listen to your needs and to take action on them? So that means getting yourself around people who get that, who are encouraging of you taking care of your needs. One of the greatest things you can do in your relationship, one of the most beautiful acts of love, is to support one another in caring for your needs, to encourage each other to do that true self-care. So to review that tool one more time, it's ALA: awareness, listening, and acting. I hope that tool will be really helpful for you in the moments that you're most needing it. If you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. It really helps me spread my messages of love to more and more people. I'm grateful for you and wish you a beautiful day.